Being a Serial Entrepreneur with Kim Hayden on WEDO Pay It Forward. Now let's get to it. Welcome, I'm Milena Radakovic, and this is WEDO Pay It Forward. Welcome back, everyone, to WEDO Pay It Forward. I'm so excited for you guys to hear the next guest, Kim Hayden, serial entrepreneur, real estate, event producer, to production house, you name it, she's done it. Welcome, Kim.
Milena, I'm so excited to be here. I have watched you and tracked you for probably close to a decade now. We've been interacting here in Calgary. And first of all, kudos. You made it through one of the times in our history, in my history, the pandemic, that flatlined a lot of businesses. And you are coming back super strong. And I want to say that's awesome because it's good for Calgary. Good entrepreneurs, good businesses build great cities.
I love that. Thank you so much, Kim. You got the most amazing, interesting story. You started off in real estate, a very successful real estate broker, and then you closed that down and you went on. Like, I love your number one thing is resilience. And you actually made an amazing conference. You published magazines all about that. Talk to us about your journey and how you became a serial entrepreneur.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the clip notes here. So what is that thing that you can subscribe to now that is where you can get the cliff notes? Anybody know the cliff notes of, you've got a great audience here, by the way, thank you. You can go in and you can get books.
Yeah, I know.
What is that called?
It's at the tip of mine.
Mind something or other.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that real quick.
Okay.
First of all, Wichita, Kansas, born in a trailer park, raised in an abusive environment, got pregnant and married when I was 18, pregnant by the time I was 19, left, moved to Las Vegas because that's where all the jobs with the union benefits so I could actually get medical. Because by the way, I have a bleeding disorder, so I didn't qualify for medical in the United States. So then I had this great baby, then I got burned out of an apartment, was waiting tables, 2 o'clock in the morning, my husband came in, I found out about, is this going fast enough? You don't need to play this on 2.0. And then I found out about this country called Canada and that I wasn't going to be discriminated against. Back again in the 80s and 90s, we had discrimination against people with pre-existing conditions in the United States. I wasn't going to be discriminated against because I was a young mom or I had a bleeding disorder or anything like that. I met this amazing man, ended up in Canada, ended up in Toronto, and it didn't fit right. Don't get me wrong, Toronto's lovely. But being a girl from a trailer park in Kansas originally and then lived in my grandparents' basement and, you know, was always kind of that borderline, but we all knew our neighbors. We all knew our neighbors and everybody pitched in, and it didn't matter what congregation you were with or anything. That was the one thing I can say about Wichita is that everybody pitched in. And I didn't feel that. I didn't feel safe. We ended up with the opportunity to move to Calgary. And I was here for about a year, and I looked at my husband one day. Do you remember the sponge painting?
The sponge painting? No.
Remember when we would sponge paint? Does anybody remember the sponge painting?
Yes, I remember.
You got
that.
lots of, yeah, I remember, okay. My husband walks in one day after we moved to Calgary, and I had 2 small children at home, and there was a forest in the foyer. I had sponge painted everything, and I looked at him and said, your children are gonna be on a milk carton if I don't find something to do. And you know, he looks at me, best words ever, it's going on his grave, it's going on his headstone. Why don't you go into real estate? It looks easy. Folks, it's not easy. Real estate is hard. If you're doing it right, it takes a lot of work because it comes back to community. It comes back to that feeling of being seen and heard and valued. We have too many people who are part-time agents out there who, you know what, send it, they hate mail to Milena, she'll deal with it. But there are too many people who are doing it halfway and they don't serve their community. I served my community. That led to 14 years, top 1% for 8 of those in Canada. Got the Centennial Award in 2005 for leadership in Alberta when we turned 100. We received the Diamond Jubilee Award in 2012, the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Award for Commonwealth leadership. all from serving one homeowner at a time.
Oh, wonderful.
I hit a time where my kids were raised and I'm going, what next? And then I got picked up by Shaw TV to do a TV show.
Oh my
And
God.
they saw, this is how things happen. Follow the breadcrumbs to success, folks. I'm doing all of this and I made a video. Gotta love cameramen and video providers. Your guys are great. I made a video of what is the recipe to a great agent.
Oh, wow.
And I baked a cake in this video. You take, and I put the flour in, you take, community knowledge, you take volunteerism, you take somebody who understands your moment, and I'm adding in all these, and I made this cake. And then we baked it, and then this is back before any of the great apps. We were able to put these little people waving on the cake as we zoomed out, and then, we're going back to 2014 before all the cool stuff was out there. And that was airing on the Cheap Seats Theater screen before the movies because I knew my audience. They were young families, move-up families. I worked in a demographic. I knew my audience, and that's where they would go. And so I had that playing, and I had somebody from Shaw TV check it out and go. They were there with their grandkids, going, "Oh, this lady's crazy enough. We could put her on TV." So I went on TV, and I did 5 seasons of Kim's Kitchen, showcasing incredible people like yourself. Chefs, challenging them, top chefs. Nothing makes a chef sweat like saying you got 60 minutes to put something on a table that my kids will eat.
Oh, I love that. That's
So,
fantastic.
and I have to give huge shout outs to Chef Milena Radakovic here in Calgary. She is a top chef, and she nailed it every time. I had her on 3-4 times. She was amazing. And then she came back and she was an elf in our Christmas series. And that is a really bad Christmas series, and I'm not going to tell you where to go look at because I'm a horrible actress. And then from there, the pandemic happened. We opened up a production studio, and then our lease on the studio came due 3 months into the pandemic, and we shut it all down because our lease at $8,000 a month. I'm going, this is not, this pandemic thing, I think it's going to be around a lot longer than what people are saying. So we shut it down. I put $100,000 worth of equipment, a full black magic studio into my basement, and just collected dust and moved into the podcasting world. And then that has brought me back full circle now to understanding sales and understanding the message and how to monetize that message. So that's where I'm at now.
Oh my God, that's
Did that give you, was that,
oh
did
my
we
God.
make that? You've got a great timer. This is like a totally pro thing, folks. You don't see it, but there's an audience, and she's even got this timer that she started. She's not winging anything. This is awesome.
Oh my God, gotta love Kim. Okay, now for our audience, like you took a lot of risks, a lot of risks. And I always say it's a support system. And I know your husband supported you through this because as a woman entrepreneur, you have to have a community, but it's so important that your spouse, your partner is there to support you. And you guys have a great relationship.
Yep.
Now, I'm sure it wasn't easy for the, I know you had to laugh at that.
We've got a couple therapists that can attest to that. Okay.
In the audience, there's a lot of women who might be scared to take the plunge. And I hear and I meet them a lot. What is a good tip that you can give to our audience for a woman who might be in the corporate world right now, who has a passion or a vision to start a business? With your experience and all the businesses you've been through, what is a tip that you can offer her to go ahead and start that business?
Okay. So I would say the very first thing is to know your value. Sit down and reverse engineer how much you're worth an hour. Don't give your time away for free. And I know that sounds mean, but it is so important. It's a lesson that I've learned. It's been a hard lesson for me to learn because we as women are nurturers and caregivers, and we play down. There are study after study after study about men who go for a job, if they've got 70% of the qualifications, they'll go for that job and they'll sell it when they're sitting in the chair. Yeah. Women, we're waiting to we're 99.9% on that. So if you are sitting at 70 or 80% and you believe that you can do this, I'm just going to say this very clearly. If you believe you can do this, It is negligent for you not to do this, because there is someone out there who needs you, And you as a woman who have spent all these years in corporate space and have acquired all this information and knowledge, there is somebody who is 30 years of age who has gone through and has been alienated from public learning, so forth and so on, because of pandemic or because of economics or whatever. And she needs you. If that woman in Omaha, Nebraska needs to learn from you, or the woman right down the street, it is negligent. Think about this. It is negligent for us not to share our information, not to put a hand down to help the next woman. And it's okay if you're looking at a hand up for your next level of success. That's what I would say. Know your value, put a dollar price on it, and then start serving people. Don't be afraid to ask, because when you get paid, oxygen mask first, ladies. What do they say on the airplane? Put your oxygen mask on so you can help the people around you. If you're being served, then you can serve further. I truly believe that.
I love that. And you know, I had a lot of women ask the same thing, and I say the number one thing is you have to take the risk. If you don't take the risk, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, a lot of us, I came from the corporate world. If I didn't take the risk, I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't be here having the opportunity to interview these amazing women who can make an influence. And I hope that you all can take the next step and go and drive. And one thing I always say, if we have more women entrepreneurs in Canada, we would be bringing $150 billion to Canada. That is a huge investment to our community. So we need you women to go and take the risk.
I totally agree.
Thank you so much. Now, Kim, how can the audience get a hold of you?
I'm easy to find. ResilientNewMedia.com.
Awesome.
So what is that? RESILIENT newmedia.com. Find me.
What about, is there social medias that they could follow you on?
Yes, so you can go to Kim Talks Podcast. I don't really have a lot of personal brands. Everything is aligned. So Kim Talks Podcast or Resilient New Media. You just search those at any level. The one place you will directly interact with me is on my LinkedIn, and that's Kim Hayden Media.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, audience, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of WEDO Pay It Forward. Bye for now. Welcome. I'm Milena Radakovic, and this is WEDO Pay It Forward.